Introduction. Good morning. I'm Michael Lipinski, and I was going to be providing you with this instruction this morning. This information is free. You're more than welcome to change the channel. I wanted to discuss this morning building information modeling and how we utilize these platforms to produce designs and infrastructure. Building information modeling is a methodology used to produce a complete design, construction, and operations solution. It has become a catalyst for transforming design and production processes in the architectural, engineering, and construction industry. More than a decade ago, in 2005, BIM was represented solely as architectural design and documentation authoring tools. By 2016, building information modeling has grown to form the basis of the process from design discipline authorship to construction and operation management of built assets. It is also being adopted for infrastructure as well as buildings. As the use of BIM tools and processes has become more mature, nations have changed legislation to accommodate the immediacy of centralized collaborative working practices in contrast with traditional sequential paper workflows. Global organizations within specific industries have defined exchanged classifications, such as industry foundation classes and COBI or COBI. And owners and their customers now expect to see a full 3D media to describe a building at any stage of the design and build process. What stage are we at? They even expect to see it as part of the construction process on site, controlling and validating the build environment. So, for starters, in order to understand and learn this, you have to relax. It takes years to master this. You can't rush in shooting from the hip. It's organized in proven structure. It's organized into a proven structure. It's factual based. Numbers don't lie. I'll do my best not to deviate from center and go off on a tangent. But the challenge here is that for any company in the architectural, engineering, construction industry to recognize the BIM areas that match its business niche, and to ensure that the information that it attributes to a model can be generated efficiently and maximized by all other information model users. With this comes much more responsibility to the users of the tools and managers of the information. Beyond lines and arcs generated by zeros and ones, it entails that every button and setting contained in the program. The BIM practitioner must know why to use a feature when it is appropriate. It is not enough to know how to customize the templates for your specific workflow. It involves user understanding, knowing when customization is needed to create a specific output and when settings are best left unchanged. It is not enough to know how to create iterative forms through the manipulation of Python coding. It also requires an understanding of design criteria and how BIM use aligns with them. Most important, it is not enough to just have to know the model, just have to know how to model a thing. It's not enough to just know how to model it. It is necessary to have the wisdom to know when and why to do so. Rest assured, this book's purpose is to educate you. And it's to educate you on the best techniques and practices of Autodesk Revit. Regardless of your relationships and your responsibilities as an architectural project team member, new users will find a plethora of information regarding everything from simple concepts to complex techniques in executing modeling, documentation, and data input-output. All the while, we have included some lesser-known tips and tricks for seasoned veterans, all readers, regardless of the experience, will benefit from the author's knowledge in planning, collaborating, governing, and supporting BIM projects with Revit at its center. The goal is not to turn all readers into BIM managers, but to extend the amazing information provided in previous volumes with additional recommendations for supporting your work for more efficiency and better quality. Scroll down to get to know me more. Anyone involved in any aspect of BIM, even tangentially, can benefit from the knowledge of the bigger picture. This edition's coverage of the collaborative process, the management of practices, and the governance of data standards has been expanded so that even novices can increase their value to the team. By understanding principles that show that every action should have a method and every method should have a purpose, readers will continue to progress their expertise in providing precise modeling and valid data to their teams at the right time and in the right format. If you seek a greater understanding of the building information process and strive to transcend your traditional responsibilities, this edition will help you towards your goal of BIM management. Pursuing knowledge of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling your projects through new techniques and tools that will help you take those steps, the next steps. By planning, you will establish strategies for achieving building information modeling use objectives. By organizing, you will be structuring the workflow to maximize the collaborative integration of your team. By leading, you will optimize your project's team's potential for providing quality deliverables efficiently. By controlling, you will be able to measure the team's performance and provide continual self-improvement with the goal of raising the level of excellence. Regardless of your role, you will contribute more. As you begin delving into this instructional video, keep an active mind about how each of the provided recommendations might fit your company's culture, your experience, and your customers' needs. Not all of these ideas may be of interest to you or of value to every project, but the goal of this book is that you will grow beyond any of the tools or techniques you deploy in your BIM projects, and that the tools will become second nature and an extension of your creativity, and that through this, you will realize great architecture. Architecture is a process of turning a thought into space. Although it's so simple to convey that in written word, the actual act of doing so is much more than it is possible to write. It's glory, man. It's torment. It's frustration. It's freedom. It's the realization that one miscalculation means a complete redesign. And it's the 3 a.m. epiphany when you realize that the new design was what you were meant to get to in the first place. With all that, it's also the burning desire to work relentlessly to make something better, one step at a time. Autodesk Revit 2020 software is one of the many tools that we employ to help us through this organic process. It's one tool in the toolbox, but it can be much more than that. It can be the workflow that provides or helps to provide and empower a team. That team that are the designers, the contractors, and ultimately the owners, who are all looking to speak the same language. We hope, and we really, really do, that in the process of using this book, you'll experience a bit of the struggle to realize a bit of the satisfaction of finding the solution. We hope what you learn in this book helps inspire you to your own bit of greatness, because what's most important is that architecture isn't about buildings. I almost shed a tear. It's about what we are able to accomplish with what little time we have. This is the elegance. Sometimes I have to slap myself in the face to keep me from shedding a tear. This is the elegance of Revit. Before we go much further, we have a few semantics to discuss. First of all, the tutorial files necessary to complete this book's exercises, plus the sample families, are hosted for the clearest direction when following the exercises in this book. Please make sure to install all the Revit files and the Revit support files that come with the default installation when you deploy. We reference heavily, and you'll need them to best leverage this software. Beginning with Revit 2018, there is only a single version of Revit that offers the architectural, structures, and MEP packages into one application. We have focused this book on the architectural features because, we have focused this book on the architectural features and have set the user interface to remove some of the structural and MEP tools for better visual clarity. The variations will be slight and ideally manageable, which really means you have some extra tools for structure and MEP design. For ease of reading, we removed those from the book's images. But I'm going to bring them back for you. I'm going to bring them back and put them into perspective, because I already taught this course. So I'm going to teach it again and again and again and again, because practice makes perfect. Now, who should read this book? This book is written for architects and for designers who have had some exposure to Revit and are eager to learn more. It is for architects of any generation. You don't need to be a computer whiz. You don't need to be a wizard to understand or appreciate the content within. We designed this book to follow real project workflows and processes to help make the tools easier to use. These chapters are full of handy tips to make it easier to leverage in your day-to-day world. This book is also for the entire range of architects, for those who are fresh out of school, to seasoned PMs who have endeavored to include content for all walks of the profession, so that regardless of your role on a project, you can learn how BIM changes both workflow and culture within a team. With that, a basic understanding of Revit will make it easy to work through the book. Revit is a robust tool requiring more than one project iteration to master. You have to go through it. It's trial by fire. Do you have what it takes, or are you going to sit on the bar stool and talk to your super about how everyone else is an asshole but you? How much conduit can you put in an 8-hour day, tough guy? By yourself. For BIM managers, the book offers insights into the best practices for creating good project or office templates. These managers should also take a sneak peek into the powerful world of building content and Revit families. We've added many time-saving and inspiring concepts to this book, supported by examples from our own projects and the rest of the real world, to help motivate and inspire you on your journey through building information modeling. On a side note, if you begrudge an individual with an education, this is not the course for you. If you are insecure, this is not the course for you. If you're overzealous, this is probably not the course for you. If you're logical and reasonable, this may be the course for you. But remain patient. The key to this is patience. Patience is a virtue. It's a virtue. I'm going to flip backwards for a second. And I wanted to repeat that architecture is the process of turning a thought into space. Although it's so simply to convey that in the written word, the actual act of doing so is so much more than it is possible to write. It's glory, it's torment, it's frustration, it's freedom. This is the Mastering series. Clear, serious education for those inspiring to become pros. Every mastering book includes the following: real-world scenarios, ranging from case studies to interviews, that show how the tool, technique, or knowledge presented is applied in actual practice. Skill-based instruction with chapters organized around real tasks rather than abstract concepts or subjects. Self-review, test questions, quizzes, exercises. So you can be certain you're equipped to do the job right. What you're going to learn? You're going to learn, I don't know, a lot. What's new? There's a lot that's new. But the software is free to educators and students. The Autodesk education community is an online resource with more than 5 million members that enables educators and students to download for free, see the website for terms and conditions. And again, I would recommend my sister. She works at Hackensack University Medical Center, and one of my other colleagues actually works in a Carrier clinic in Belmead, New Jersey. Again, those young ladies are in the yellow pages if you're looking for aftercare help. I would strongly suggest contacting them. As a matter of fact, I do have lots of friends that you could speak with that can guide you to the right toll on the turnpike, and they'll be more than willing to help you. That being said, we have got a lot to cover in a very limited time. What to expect? Well, we're going to expect this. We're going to expect fundamentals. We're going to expect understanding the principles of BIM, covering principles in building information modeling within your office or project environment. We're going to explore the user interface and organizing projects, details that the Revit interface and general organization of the platform. We're going to learn the basics of the toolbox, exploring the commands and tools within Revit. We're going to get an overview of where to find them, and dive into their uses in the chapters ahead. We're going to configure templates and standards. We're going to discuss the tools that we need to develop and manage graphic standards in a project template. Part 2, we're going to discuss collaboration and teamwork, modeling and massing for design, extended modeling techniques, documentation, construction, and beyond. But the fundamentals, we're going to spend a lot of time on understanding the principles of BIM. We're going to spend a lot of time on exploring the user interface and organizing projects. We're going to spend a lot of time on the basics of the toolbox. And we're going to spend a lot of time on configuring templates and standards. We're going to spend a lot of time. It's going to take money, a whole lot of spending money. It's going to take plenty of money to do this right. So now, moving forward with this narrative, I want to draw your attention to this particular passage here at Microdesk that states, because there are fewer constraints to the parameter values in qualitative modeling, there inevitably exists ambiguity and solve for why I'm doing this. This first screen is something for you to absorb and digest, not for me to explain the meaning of. Now, about Microdesk. Microdesk was a firm I worked for who had been instrumental in my development. About me, I try to work in a consulting capacity, whether or not I'm a consultant or not. General information, as soon as I can get around to it. A little bit about me. If you'd like to know a little bit about me, well, I have a lot of friends here and a lot of enemies. You can go ask them. But the primary objective of this course is to provide the necessary foundation for creating 3D models and construction documents using Revit, MEP, and Navisworks Manage. At the end of this class, students will be able to understand the core concepts of building information modeling, navigate the software, set up projects from start to finish, and troubleshoot some common warnings. Troubleshoot some common warnings. Doesn't that go without saying? What else? We're going to talk about static magnetic fields, and we're going to continue along. We're going to talk about how this accurate model can be used. And we're going to talk about the trades and linking models together. We're going to talk about harmony. We're going to talk about structure and discipline. We're going to talk about managing and freedom. We're going to talk about parametric relationships and bidirectional associativity. We're going to talk about the essence and the requirements. We're going to talk about art. We're going to talk about leisure. We're going to talk about everything that goes in to being able